Hi, today we are going to talk about an online resource that's fairly new to our library, Hoopla. You can link directly to Hoopla from our website. If you scroll to the bottom of the page, we have these quick links, and as you can see, we have Hoopla listed under ebooks and audiobooks, as well as under movies and music. So, once you click on one of those links, it will take you to the Hoopla homepage, which you can also access directly from hoopadigital.com. From here, if you're a returning user, you'd enter your username and password in the upper right-hand corner there. But if you're new to the website, then you'll first need to set up your username and password, which you'll access by the button in the middle, the Get Started there. So once you click on that, then it will prompt you to set up your account, which is the process that we're going to go through and see here today. So the first thing that you'll need to do is put in your email address, confirm your email address, and create a password. This is the information that you're going to need to log into your account. Next, we're going to authenticate through Polaris, which is how Hoopla pulls the information on the approved users from us. So you'll choose your library there with the drop-down menu, and then it's going to ask you for your library card. And again, that's how it's going to make sure that the people who are using Hoopla through our library are actually library card holders. Once you've done that, you click Continue, and then it's going to ask you to read the terms and conditions and privacy policy, your big chance there, and then click Sign Me Up. Okay, and then this last page has some important information that people are probably not going to read. It's going to tell you that you've got 5 checkouts per month, that you can borrow audiobooks, movies, music, comic books, ebooks, and television titles. And the last thing there, it's going to invite you to call the library if you need any additional help, which is why we want you to feel comfortable with this online service. Okay, so from here I'm going to enter my username and password and get logged in here. And once I'm logged in, we'll be able to see how many items I have checked out and how many more items I can borrow this month. So at the top of the screen, we have options for My Hoopla, which is account information, browsing the collections, searching, and selecting my settings. If I were to go in and browse audiobooks, you can see this screen pops up, and I can limit by recommended titles, featured titles, popular titles, or set a category. So under categories, let's see here, there we go. I'm going to choose demo content because these items are set for practicing and do not count against my checkouts. So I'd recommend when you're playing around with it to also go in and locate those demo contents. So if I hover over a title here, you will see that I can rate them, I can borrow it, and then there's this little heart down there. This will add it to my list of favorites. This is a great way to create a list of things you are interested in for the future, but don't necessarily want today. So now if I click on the item, a details screen comes up. It's going to give me information on this particular item, including subject headings, how long it can be borrowed for, and if I keep scrolling down, it will give me recommendations and a list of people who borrowed this also borrowed, which is great, a great way to get ideas for future items. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on Borrow here, and this nice pop-up screen comes here and tells me when the expiration date is. It also mentions that if I'm using a computer, I can now stream this item, which I would do by clicking play underneath the title. Note here, streaming will need a constant Wi-Fi signal to continue playing. If you are using a mobile device and you are streaming, it will use your data. If you are on a mobile device, I would highly recommend downloading the Hoopla app and downloading that title so you don't have to use data to access it, and we'll be going over that here in a minute. Now, going back to my Hoopla, we can see that I've added this title to my list of borrowed items. I can also see it on my favorites list now that I've added it by clicking on that little heart earlier, and there it is. Alright, so finally I wanted to show you the settings here. If I can get over there. There we go. This is a great way. You can enable kids mode this way. You can also choose to hide your borrowing history, but I wanted to show you the recommendations. Once you go in here, you can go in and tell the system what types of genres or things that you're interested in. For example, Christmas season just ended, so I had holiday music there. If I were to switch that to jazz as my recommended music setting, then I can go in now, I'm back to browsing music, and what I need to do is click over here on recommended, and now what I've got are jazz albums that have popped up as recommended to me based on that setting. So that's a really neat feature there. Okay, now we're going to move on and talk about how Hoopla works on mobile devices. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is get that app from the App Store, the Play Store, whatever it's called on your device, and get it loaded onto your tablet or mobile device. So you'll want to go into your store, search Hoopla, and the correct app is going to be that blue one with the white letters there. And you'll want to install it. It's a free install there. And once it's there, it should show up with the rest of your apps, and you can just click on it to either log yourself in again or to set up that account if it is your first time. Same information they're going to ask for as if you were doing it on that website, the actual web page. And again, the very last screen that's going to pop up is going to let you know you've got 5 titles and the different formats of titles that they have to borrow. Now the app's going to look a little bit different than the website, but it's still going to have the same information for your account and browsing, searching, and settings. You'll then click on an item to borrow it, click borrow, and now you can see the option to download to your device or play it, which is going to be the streaming with the Wi-Fi. Then, if you click in the upper right-hand corner with the settings right there, that's how you're going to access those recommendations, recommended settings there, again, to get those recommendations for the types of things that you'll be looking for. That third screen there, the recommended settings, that's going to look very similar to what we saw on the actual website. Okay, so unlike Bridges, there are no wait lists on Hoopla, which means that you don't have to wait for a title. It's instantly available to anyone at any time. Some movies, music, or TV will lend for 7 days instead of 3 days. You'll have to pay attention to the borrow time. You can download onto a tablet or a mobile device, but you cannot on a computer. You'll have to stream on a computer. And again, 13,000+ titles were added to our catalog when we got Hoopla. Speaking of catalog, I did want to go over what it looks like in our catalog. I have here examples from both our OPAC and the Polaris catalog. From the patron side of the catalog, Hoopla Titles will be accompanied by a link to the item in Hoopla for immediate download. The call number will tell you it is a downloadable, and you will not be able to see an availability for the item. After all, it's always available. On the staff side, if you are searching for a Hoopla title, be sure to search bibliographic records instead of item records. There are no physical items for these Hoopla items, so they won't show up on those item record searches. Again, you can tell that it is a Hoopla item based on the format being e-audiobook and the call number being downloadable e-audiobook, e-book, something like that with available instantly through Hoopla. Alright, so here is your quick check. Can you work through and answer these questions?